Baltimore is more than crabs in the wire, and I'm here to share the real stories of the real, true talented people in the city who don't get the recognition that they deserve. Please sit back, relax, subscribe, and watch how we make the whole world want to be more like us. What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to another week. Hopefully, you got a chance to see my interview last week. Put my heart and soul into it. Spoke about how this came about, some of my story, but I don't want to give away too much, man. Just make sure you go back, look in the description, and take a look back on last week's interview. But I'm so happy to have you back. Welcome back to Bmore Like Us 410. We're in a new location. As you can see, we're at Rim Source, prior to, which is another Black-owned business, and now we're at Velocity Studios here in Randallstown, Maryland. So I'm so elated to not only be doing this, but to be doing it in a Black-owned space. All right, I think that's super dope. But before you do anything else, make sure you click the subscription button. Click the kick it, right? And then make sure you subscribe, because why would you want to miss out on this? Like, that's crazy. Enough about last week though, right? We're here to talk about our guest today. None other than one of your favorite chefs. And some of you say he texts you more than your significant other. Well, his business texts you more than your significant other. Let me clarify that. None other than my brother, Chef Papi.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
How you feeling, brother?
Feeling good.
Why you text people so much? What's going on, bro?
It's all in the marketing,
So, tell me, who are you? Where you from? Let's just get right into it, because people want to know. Outside of always asking you for food, right? Who are you? Where you from?
Yeah, so I'm Chef Alex Perez, owner of Papi Cuisine. So Papi Cuisine is a variation of restaurants, catering services, private chef services, and some products that, will soon be in grocery stores and things of that nature. But, I'm from East Baltimore. Simple put.
So tell us, you told us where you're from, who you are as a person, but let's talk about something deeper. I think often success is looked at with all the wrong parameters. People think, okay, it's measured by your buildings or your cars or how you look or your followings on social media. But I want you to take a moment and think about, what was the toughest thing that you mind speaking of that happened and how you overcame it? And was that like pivotal into who you grew into be?
Yeah, I think one of the toughest things I've experienced is poverty. And, coming from where I come from, East Baltimore, I think I grew up in the Church Square area, then I upgraded to the projects and, upgraded to the projects. And so living in poverty is one of the toughest things that has ever happened to me, because it's a trickle down effect. So it caused so many other issues in my life. And pretty much the way I overcame that was by having an open mind, even in the midst of what I was going through. And, pretty much just knowing there's only the top to go to, as far as where I was at the bottom though. So I just remained determined. And, I stepped outside of that box and I just, went for it, because I felt like I had nothing to lose, because I didn't have much to begin with.
This is what everybody want to know. We're going to get right into it. How did you start your business and where is it at today? Let's just get right into it. How did you get to making this bomb food? That's what I want to know.
So I know a lot of people ask that. So I've been into cooking for a very long time. I remember being 4 years old, and I have
even in the Church Square days.
This is like Claremont Project days right here.
Okay, so, that was the move up.
Yeah, that was the upgrade, So I remember, not having much food and being like 4 or 5, mixing Bisquick and popping it in the oven. Didn't even know what setting to put it on, And
that's tough.
I got to us. A lot of people probably already know us. My father's side of the family is from Dominican Republic. So father's side is Dominican, mother's side is Black. And at I believe around 7, 8 years old, my father started teaching me how to cook, traditional Dominican dishes and things like that. And, I loved it. So I think over the next few years into my teenage years, I started cooking a lot and cooking for friends, family. And I noticed the reaction people had when they would taste the food. And it was at some point in time in my life where
I was struggling to figure out exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I know I always wanted to start a business or, do something outside of working for someone else. And it's not to bash, working for anyone else, because we all start somewhere, and some people they don't care for owning a business or being an entrepreneur. So that's fine. But I knew that that's what I wanted for myself, and I just didn't know what direction to go into. So I knew that I was great at art. I was great with my hands. I've always drew pictures, painted, sculpted, did carpentry back in high school. And I think it was at a point in time where I just didn't know what to do. Bills piling up, another trickle down effect from the whole poverty situation. And
that's when I met you. I remember meeting you around that time.
And I started posting food on social media. And I'm very artistic when it comes to anything that I do. So I'm very precise. I'm a perfectionist. So once I started posting this food, a lot of people, they would comment, and praise, the food I was posting. And I think what people were saying is it reminded them of being in a restaurant. And people started to suggest that I sell the food. And I thought about it, and, I started to form a business and started doing some research. And, that's how Papi Cuisine was born. A lot of in between.
Right, I got you. Yeah, definitely.
But that's pretty much where it started at, though. Gotcha. So I started out of my house and started getting the proper credentials to, to deliver the food. And then it just turned into this thing where, so much community support. A lot of the customers that in the first few years of me running the business, I got to meet them face to face, and that was one of the biggest foundations and the loyalty that we have with our customers. Because they got to meet me, they seen what I was doing, and it just started growing fast though. So I had a lot of support from the community, and what I would do with that support and those dollars, I would reinvest it back into the company instead of getting clothes and getting cars and doing all these things. I just kept reinvesting it back into the company. Because eventually I wanted people to be proud of what they put their dollars into over the years. And I wanted them to be able to come into an actual Papi Cuisine restaurant one day. So, through the years, I just kept, adding more services, improving our systems, started doing the catering, private chef services, started opening my services outside of Baltimore. So around the U.S., up and down the East Coast, doing weddings and traveling to celebrity clientele to cook for them and their families and things like that. And I think what ended up happening was I reached a point where I started to tap a little bit more into the marketing aspect of social media, and I started to capitalize off of that by growing a bigger following, reaching customers overseas with recipe ebooks, seasonings, and things like that.
I have one of those books, and listen, it has made me look great.
Right.
So my girl, thank you.
So that, all those things and more, attributed to where we're at right now. So now I think we opened our first restaurant location. I started the process of that in 2019, opened a month prior to the pandemic last year. And now I have 3 locations. So I have three locations in counting.
Flowers while you here, bro.
Yeah, one of the biggest locations is it's open right now for takeout. It's been a lot of openings, closings, so forth. But
with the way the world is,
right? And I have 2 other locations that I'm developing concepts. So the locations are secured, but I'm also developing concepts outside of the Papi Cuisine brand. Still food based, but so you'll begin to see those in the next couple of years as well. So. That's where we're at, and I think that's the gist of it. It's definitely much more. It's business that I do outside of Papi Cuisine, but this has been the thing that's opened up so many other doors for me to do other forms of business.
I think that's perfect, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love laughing because I know when I'm going to act.
Yeah.
He going to kick my
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Okay.
You so Baltimore. If you so Baltimore, what is the real junction? And when I say real, based off of food, services, and people, what's the best junction in the city? Church Square Junction or Walbrook Junction?
Come on, you putting East against West right now.
Walbrook Junction or Church Square? You gotta answer it. got to answer. You can't say, come on.
I'm gonna say Walbrook.
Yeah!
I'm gonna say Walbrook, and the only reason, I mean, because it was only one spot I think I went to. I really frequented Church Square, and that was the Chinese spot down there. But
just say West Side the best side. It's okay. I know you're from Louis. Just say West Side the best side.
I can't say that. I can't go on camera saying that, man.
It's okay. It's okay. I embrace you. Social distancing. I still embrace you, bro.
East.
So let's get a little bit serious. That was a good laugh. But if you could say anything to these kids, what would it be? I think often the youth of the city gets overlooked or they get a bad name. We were once youth of the city, right? They labeled us Generation X, right? I'm an 80s baby, so are you. So being a positive brother, being a family man, being a business owner, multiple locations, right? What message would you tell these kids, like you said, growing up from poverty to where you are? What message do you send to them?
Message I would send to kids is to, explore, options outside of your environment. I think a lot of times when you're going through like poverty, especially as a kid, you tend to kind of just look at, what others in your community are doing, to pretty much rise above that. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's not, but like really explore, your options. I remember a point in time where I was going through it myself and I was going to get it, by any means, necessary. But what I ended up finding out is the any means necessary, what came along, with that and going down negative paths and things like that. It cost me way more time, way more money, and almost cost me my freedom, ultimately. So I would rather have that freedom and put into something positive that can't be taken away from me, in the aspect, of the law and things like that. Just, explore, is other options out there. Is other options out there aside from, dealing or scamming and doing these things because, you might go down that path just to get to eat now, but it can cause you like a lifetime of headache.
Hey man, so serious question. Brandon Scott is the mayor. He came right in swinging. Have the pleasure of knowing him. I think he's a decent brother. Here to make a change. But do you see what he's doing in conjunction with what other people are doing, both in business and, just everyday hardworking people? Do you see Baltimore changing, or where do you see Baltimore is a better question in the next 5 years? And would you still be here in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. So I see Baltimore changing for the good. More opportunity, for the residents and so forth. And you got people like me, yourself, making a positive impact. On the community, showing the youth that there's so many other positive things you can get into, to actually come up, and things like that. So I definitely see a positive change. And as far as the next 5 years of Baltimore, and I've been seeing it, 5 years ago, so I had a conversation with some of my business mentors on where Baltimore was going at in the next 10 years, 5 years ago. And we were talking about, the number of opportunities that were going to pop up. And I always wanted to make sure me and people who look like me could seize those opportunities as well as they're coming, though. So I definitely see us going to the positive direction as far as the image of Baltimore is concerned. Yes, I still, I can't just, uproot and leave. I'll still do business here, but I also do business outside of it as well, though, because I feel like that's important for people to see. We all know the bad rap we have got in the past with numerous things, but I think that's important for the world to see the greatness coming out of Baltimore and for us to take brands that were born here and really spread them across the globe. So,
never want this to end. I know people probably in the comments. Listen, don't forget the comment battles. Go down there, post what you think about the interview. Whoever has the best comment is getting free drip. Ain't nobody giving out free drip for for comments. It ain't happening. All right, but I don't know. I just deflected because I really don't want the interview to end. He can go so much more deep, but for time constraints, we know we can't. But I'm going to give him a chance to say his social medias and to shout out anybody he cares about, because it's important that you support this brother and support any of the businesses that have been on this channel. So, Chef Papi, here's your chance to say, how can they follow you? How can they find that food? Anything that you want to know, and anybody that you feel like is part of your success right now.
So Chef Papi, you can follow me at Papi Cuisine. So that's PapiCuisine, or you can follow the restaurant page at Papi Cuisine Baltimore. So Papi Cuisine, PapiCuisine, Baltimore. Did I even say that right? But pretty much, I think if I had to shout someone out, it would be, the culture, that pours into what I'm doing and what other business minded people are doing in our community, because it gives us these platforms to pretty much, show people, it's light at the end of the tunnel though. So that's why I'm shouting out. There's so many people that I can attribute to, my success outside of my own work ethic, but I have had a lot of support over the years. So I'm shouting out all my customers and just the culture, period, where how it has changed in the food industry that allows somebody who look like me, to really be on top. So
I think that's amazing, man. Make sure you like, click, and subscribe to the channel. If you thought his interview was dope, wait till you taste the food, all right? And guess what? I'm going to keep the fun going because I know more dope chefs, and I got a female chef for y'all next week. So you definitely want to click that subscription button, all right? Peace.